Question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? Andrew Goodwin was a theorist that speculated about the forms and conventions of real media texts. His published conventions of music videos can be applied to most popular music videos today. However, some music videos do not follow the conventions. I personally did not follow all the conventions of music videos as I will explain now. There will be a relationship between the lyrics and the visuals. As you can see here, I've taken a screen grab from my video. During the lyric can make it all the way to you as the character is walking. This follows the convention and also emphasises the distance between the two characters, the couple. I've not followed the convention to much of an extent to emphasise the self-destructive relationship between them. There will be a relationship between the music and the lyrics. Sorry, the music and the visuals. As you can see here, I've taken screen grabs from the first part of the video. The screen and the shot changes on the beat just to sort of add something to the music. A motif will appear frequently throughout works of the same artist. As you can see here, I've shown you images of my signature shot, which is the two characters stood in close-up side by side. A record label will demand a certain amount of close-ups in the video. Here you can see two examples of how I've included close-ups on the video. This is to do with the record label's contractual demands, as this will increase recognisability and it will be more likely that the audience will go out and purchase some of the products, as you can see here from my digipack cover. Often there will be a voyeuristic objectification to women. I've deliberately tried to avoid this convention, as it did not fit into the genre characteristics for indie music and music videos. Female objectification is seen much more in pop and R&B music videos, therefore it would not fit into this type of genre. I've tried to follow themes of a grungy style and follow the destructive relationship between the couple. Overall, I believe I've followed the genre characteristics for the indie genre of music well, by including and adopting a homemade style of filming and production. I hope it is clear that the message I was trying to say with the video was to clearly show how the two characters got on. The couple were not a glamorous couple like a big budget pop video, but were self-destructive and messy, as I hope the video portrayed. How effective is the combination of your main product and ancillary tasks? As I've found through deconstructions of digipacks, adverts and music videos, many symbols, themes and images are carried through the entire production to ensure a strong association to the target audience. This association is what leads the potential consumer to go out and buy the album after seeing the advert or music video. In short, the recurring themes throughout a media package are what lead an audience to purchase an album or song or music video from a digital service after sampling the material in a free format. This effect can be seen throughout many successful artists and genres. Jake Bugg is a new artist and has had reasonable success from his debut self-titled album, as well as the number of singles released from the album. As you can see, a frequent feature of Jake Bugg's work is a close-up shot of his face. This is a feature most probably encouraged by the record label in order to increase the chances of recognition by potential audiences. Jake Bugg's other recurring motifs and symbols include the vintage and monotone colour schemes used in the design aspects of his promotional material, such as the album cover art, as well as the music videos and album adverts. This use of vintage colour schemes, shown here, may have been chosen because of the vintage traditions associated with folk music today. Artists such as Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan and the Beatles were the beginnings of the genre in popular music during the 60s and 70s and onwards. Jake Bugg's work serves as a modern product of all these influences in a modern-day popular music, so perhaps that's why the design elements of his work are so distinctly part of the same campaign. An artist that represents the genre that my track and music video would be part of are a band called the XX. They are the original artists that wrote and performed the track I used for my music video. As part of this research, I did some reading into the media products that they have developed during their career, such as the music video and digipack art. A recurring motif used is the X, written in a stylized way. This is an obvious link to the name of the band, but also serves as a link between other promotional materials involved with the same campaign during the release of their debut album. The stylized X that is used to represent the band is a recognisable symbol that any potential consumers can spot in shops or online and link the music to that symbol. This is a device that is effective for album sales after a big budget music video is released, like the video for Islands, seen here. I have tried to replicate the effect by including a number of motifs in the main tasks and ancillary tasks. The first example to talk about would be the shot of male and female artists, shot in close-up, side by side, sometimes with contrasting environments. The inspiration for deciding on a signature shot for my media text came from reading through Quentin Tarantino's work in film in recent years. Quentin Tarantino has developed a signature shot which can be seen in all of his writing and directorial features, such as Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill. Although the signature shot is not used as a feature to encourage potential consumers to purchase more material from the works of Tarantino, this simple convention of his films is used to confirm his credibility as a filmmaker to the target audience by showing that it is a genuine Tarantino film, a kind of maker's mark for his films that fans and target audiences will respond to positively. My signature shot, replicated in all three tasks for this media product, is the shot of the male and female voice shot in close-up, stood next to each other. The reason for choosing the close-up shot was to conform to one of the conventions of music videos theorised by Andrew Goodwin. One of the conventions Goodwin theorised about was that artists and the makers of music videos will be obliged to include a major amount of close-up shots and mid-shots to increase the chances of the target audience purchasing a record or music video from an online retailer. Because of this, I have chosen to include the close-up shot of the artist as a major symbol of the design of the music video and on both of the ancillary tasks. For both my main task and ancillary task, I chose to include the use of black and white and monotone colour schemes to link in with the modern look of the campaign. This conforms to Andrew Goodwin's convention of including a motif as part of the campaign. The effect of this is to make the artist more recognisable to the potential consumers that may be interested by the music video for the track. I have also included the frequent close-up shot of the artist to not only conform to a convention of many music videos spanning genres, but also to conform to the standard record label procedure of including close-ups of the artist as a type of advertisement for the artist, and indirectly promote the past and future works of that artist. Question 3. What have you learned from your audience feedback? The target audience for my media campaign would be mostly males aged 17 to 19. This age range seems very small and specific, but as I found out through audience research, a teenager's music taste changes over the course of the teenage years and into the young adult years. It is not unusual for the type of music bought, the frequency at which they will pay for music, as well as the way they purchase music, to change dramatically. 14 to 6-year-olds will purchase music only every few weeks, and will buy mostly full albums from a shop such as HMV, whereas older people in the 18 to 21 age range will mostly pay for their music by using an online service such as iTunes or other browser-based marketplaces. These digital download services also allow for single tracks to be bought from albums rather than having to purchase the entire album. Young teenagers will mostly make their choices on what to listen to based on what is being played on the radio, as well as what is current in terms of the singles sales chart, whereas older teenagers and young adults will make their choices based on word of mouth and online recommendations between friends. Apps such as Shuffler FM, Shazam and Spotify reinforce this idea by allowing users to share their favourite tracks and recommend them to a friend, usually with no charge, as these types of programs usually monetize the business through advertising and optional subscription services. Here you can see my breakdown of what persuaded me to target young adults rather than teenagers when deciding on my target audience for my media campaign. The 14 to 6-year-olds like chart and radio played music. They buy full albums every few weeks, and do not represent a major audience in the music industry, whereas 18 to 21-year-olds act upon recommendations by friends and colleagues, etc. They purchase music in some form every few days and represent an important market in the industry, as young adults pay for more music than any other demographic in the UK. I've also created 2 Voki avatar demonstrating how potential audiences, motives and responsibilities change as they go through the teenage years. Unfortunately, there isn't a platform to allow my Voki animations to be embedded onto my presentation, so I've had to film the animation before importing them as a file onto my Prezi.
Hello, I'm John. I'm 16 years old and at the moment I take my influence on great music from the charts and popular radio airplay. If I buy music, I tend to buy from shops, but I only pay for music every couple of weeks or so.
Hello. Me again. I'm now 21 years old and have just entered a career leading a sales department at a small insurance company. I still really enjoy music, possibly more than ever. There are more choices. And by using a range of apps and online services, it's easy to keep in touch with my friends and colleagues about what they're listening to. Now I mostly use online services to purchase my music and take my inspiration for what I listen to from my friends.
I believe I've targeted my audience by the use of modern colour schemes, such as the black and white and monotone colours used for the print aspects of the campaign. I believe I balanced the modern-looking aspects by including an aspect of camera work inspired by the conventions found in my indie deconstructions. I chose to include several shots that replicate the homemade and grungy look of the music videos by the Libertines. A frequent feature of their work is using clips of footage that look homemade or made by other members of the band. This effect gives the artist a much more humble look on themselves, attracting an audience because it breaks the gap between the artist and the viewer in terms of wealth and popularity. What I mean by this is if an artist, particularly an indie rock artist, is seen to be having not much of a cash investment as other artists, such as pop artists, with high budgets, then an audience will be more responsive to the messages the artists are portraying, and the viewer will be more inclined to go out and purchase more music from that artist, or buy music from any online service like iTunes or Amazon.com. I chose to form a small focus group from students studying media at my sixth form, formed of students aged 17 and 18, and asked them 3 questions to answer about each of the media products I had produced. The 3 questions asked were: in what ways do my media products remind you of existing media products? What are the strengths of the products? And what are the weaknesses of the products? After collaborating all the feedback into the average male response and average female response, this is what they said. The male members of my focus group said they liked the star ratings and the retail logos on the advert, and they liked the placement. They also liked the minimalist approach to the design and appropriate font choices for the products and their purposes. There wasn't enough attention to detail, however, regarding the symmetry of the digipack cover. There was too many different elements to the back of the cover. In the video there was disjointed and lengthy shots and not a very flowing edit in the music. Female members of my focus group said they liked the clear house style and the display of information. They thought the artists were believable and liked the range of locations in the video. They thought the entire campaign looked recognisable as coming from one artist. However, they thought the logos were too big on the digipack and also on the album advert. In the video they thought there was some shaky camera work and not enough light on the actor's eyes or face. Could also do with some different costume changes. The comments that were given are a fair representation of my media products, and if I had a chance to rectify some of the issues with the products, I would do the following. Firstly, I would spend more time planning the music video shoots. I didn't spend enough time thinking about the lighting conditions in each of the locations. Most of my locations were outside, so the use of reflectors and man-made controllable lighting would have helped enormously with the lighting. I could have lit the actors' faces more to give the entire production more life. Something else I would have done would be to slightly alter the position and size of the images on the cover, just to fill up some of the white spaces that are present on the front, back and inside covers of the digipack. I would also have taken the time to retake the shots of the music video over and over, as the small touches would have made the production a much more professional looking media presentation. Question 4. New media technologies. During the construction, planning, research and evaluation stages of production, I used many types of new technologies. In the construction stage of production, the use of a DV camera and editing software was essential. Without a DV camera, the visual elements of any music video would be limited to computer-generated imagery, a skill that I don't have. As well as this, I didn't have the resources available to me to enable me to create an animated video. I used the editing software Pinnacle for the editing of my music video. This was a very useful editing program compared to other editing software I have encountered during other media projects I have undertaken, such as Serif Movie Plus. Pinnacle allowed me to easily import media into the program, as the software is very simple to understand and user-friendly. This made the editing of the film clips very easy to do, especially as we were creating a music video that had to be edited on the beat of the music. I used the inbuilt Windows program that allowed me to import the music from a CD onto the computer's memory. After importing the media onto Pinnacle, I used the cut and delete tools to edit the music down in appropriate places in the same way as I would with film in the program. After cutting the music down to a suitable length, I could begin putting the film onto the music. Pinnacle has separate areas for visuals, music, voiceovers and any effects on visuals and sound. These different tracks made it easy to organise the media on the video, and when it came to editing the video on the beat of the music, the different areas for visuals and music helped to visualise the music and the beat of the music. It was also essential to use a memory card with the DV camera for two reasons. Firstly, it made the capacity for footage storage a lot larger. This was useful as it allowed room for retakes of certain shots and adjustments to lighting or mise-en-scène, etc. The second reason why a memory card was essential was because it allowed for easy transfer between the camera and the computer via a card reader plugged into the USB port in the PC. This made it easy to get started on editing right after filming had taken place. For the construction of the digipack and album advert, different technologies and skill sets were required. The main difference between the print aspects and the film aspects of the production is that with the print you do not need to mix together visual and audio aspects. You're only dealing with one type of media. Because of this aspect, I used Adobe Photoshop for the editing of my still images, as I found the tools and layout of the program tailored to my needs on the project. Tools such as the colour correction and Magic Wand tool helped a lot when creating the final images to be used on the digipack and advert. I used the colour adjustments to turn the images into black and white images before adding a small amount of blue to create a clean looking and professional quality image for inserting it into the template for each of the covers. I also used Photoshop to add text into the image template, as well as to adjust the size and shape of the text. A stills camera was necessary, as well as the SD memory card, for the reason that I was not able to produce a good enough quality image by simply using computer-generated images. I also didn't think that using artwork or a non-photograph for the digipack would be suitable for the genre that the track was part of. I also used emailing as a tool to transfer the still images from one PC to another, or in some cases from my mobile phone to another. This was necessary as it was not always possible to easily get hold of a card reader to transfer the images onto a different PC. The card reader was also an important tool used for the transfer of still images and film from the SD card onto a PC, where they can be manipulated to form professional standard media text. During the planning stages, other technologies were used to transfer actual physical sketches of my storyboards, timing sheets and initial shot ideas overlaid on the lyric sheet. I used a scanner to create a digital copy of the paper sheets used for the first planning stages. Without a scanner, it would have been impossible to efficiently organise my ideas and planning documents. As well as this, the digital forms of the paper documents allowed for a clear display of my ideas on the blog. The digital copies also protected against loss of paper copies during the planning stages. Adobe Photoshop was used here as well during the planning stages of production to form the first drafts of the digipack and advert. The simple interface in Photoshop allowed me to create the beginnings of my print tasks very easily. This helped a lot because the software was helpful when experimenting with different layouts, colour schemes and other visual elements of the print tasks before creating the final copies of the productions. I use the internet as a research tool throughout the process of developing my media products. For information on the media products released by artists today, I use websites such as Wikipedia, as well as search engines such as Google or Bing. The internet was also an indispensable tool when constructing this presentation, as Prezi, the software used for making and presenting this slideshow, is a browser-based program. I have used Prezi before to create slick and professional-looking presentations, and I think the quality is a great improvement on using PowerPoint. As part of the presentation, I have also used a website called Voki to create talking avatars to demonstrate the audience research and feedback in a more interactive and appealing way. Unfortunately, there is not an embedding feature within the Prezi software, so I've had to record the Voki from my mobile phone, and by using email, transfer it across to my Prezi presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.